Greenbelt Access Television presents an interview with Dan Gelati, General Manager of the Greenbelt Co-op Supermarket and Pharmacy. Located in the historic Roosevelt Center, the co-op first opened its doors in 1937 as the Greenbelt Consumer Services. In 1940, a group of residents known as the Greenbelt Cooperative purchased the store. In 1984, another group of residents known as the Greenbelt Consumers Cooperative purchased both the supermarket and store. The focus was to provide the widest variety of products possible and outstanding customer service. Hi there, I'm Phoebe with Gate, and we are talking to Dan Gelati, who is the new manager at the co-op, and I'm going to ask him to introduce himself. So, go ahead.
Hi Phoebe, I am Dan Gelati. I am the new general manager here at Greenbelt Co-op Supermarket and Pharmacy.
So when did you start working here?
I started on April 15th, the day the mask ordinance went into effect here in Maryland. So it was a really interesting time to start working at a grocery store. But it was a really good time. I think I was able to kind of come in with energy and enthusiasm during a tough time, which is really, I think, has been positive, and was able to kind of take the store, build on what had already been started around safety, and then build it further for the remainder up till now through the pandemic.
So as a manager, what are some of the changes that you've made since you came in?
One of the things I wanted to do in coming into Greenbelt and working with the board of directors and the staff here was really make sure that we preserve the things that people already love about the co-op. There's lots of things to love about Greenbelt Co-op. But then also think about things that could be improved and modernized and kind of made to be some of the best things that other food co-ops across the country are doing, try to bring them here. And so I just started looking and paying attention to what was happening in the store and what were the great things that we wanted to keep and what were the things that needed some improving or some modernizing. And I just kind of started working through my list while also having the overriding aspect of staying safe during the pandemic and doing a lot of things differently because of that, different than we've ever done in the grocery industry. And so kind of managing those things of keeping good stuff, changing things that needed to change, and keeping everything safe and running effectively. And so that's been kind of the juggling act for the past several months. One of the things that I thought about was that the store hadn't really changed where things were located or how it was organized for a long time. And that kind of caused us to sort of jam products in here and there, and it became a little bit jumbled compared to what I thought would be a more organized way of looking at the store. And so we just looked at a few major areas and tried to reorganize them in a way that hopefully, especially to a new customer, would come in and make a lot of sense, that certain things were with certain things, and just really kind of basic stuff of reorganizing so that it was really easy to shop or even easier to shop. So, and then I wanted to do things like improve our produce department. Produce is really important to grocery stores. We have a great produce manager in Teddy, and I wanted to make sure that I gave him the support and energy and help that he needed to get that department up to the class that it should be. A really great produce department, both in what we offer, widening the variety of offerings, bringing in a lot of local products. We had a ton of local, bringing in some more organic, and just kind of being excited about produce and really having that kind of show throughout the store, making sure that when you walked into the store that you saw what season are we in. You know, we're in the summer was berries, and then this fall has been apples and pumpkins and squash, and now we're moving in to citrus, because December and January are great times for citrus. So making sure that avocados are in, and that we have avocados that if you need it tonight, it's ripe. If you need it tomorrow, it's a little less ripe, and just little things that the department needed some tweaks on. And so far we've gotten a really lot of positive feedback about produce that's really improved in the past few months. I'm really excited about that. I'm an old produce guy. Produce was my first job at a food co-op, and so I love bringing that here. We've also kind of shifted our game around our deli. So our deli has some new offerings. We have a Meatless Monday program. Meatless Monday is a national trend trying to get people to think about maybe going meatless one day a week or more, and for health, for environment, for different reasons. So we're kind of building on that national program and bringing it to Greenbelt. And then also a meal deal on Fridays, a chicken meal deal that people can come and get their lunch for their dinner for their whole family on Fridays. And we're going to be expanding those offerings, having a little bit more of the co-op kind of cooking for you, so you don't have to every night. People are tired of cooking for themselves during the pandemic, and So we're trying to find ways to meet those folks' needs with some different items throughout the week that we have, in addition to every day having cool stuff in the deli. Beyond that, fair trade is really important to me. It's important to food co-ops in general. And so we've brought in a number of fair trade items. And fair trade is essentially just making sure that the people that are producing our food and our products are getting a fair shake, that it's not charity, but it's a fair price for the goods that they're making and producing. So we have a great relationship with Equal Exchange Coffee. We now have bulk organic fair trade coffee that people can buy by the pound. We have these Andes Gifts, these Peruvian artisans, women's collectives are making these incredible scarves and hats and toys and things that we've been offering, and you see them around town now. People are wearing these really cool Viking stocking caps and scarves and things, and that's a fair trade collective that we're working with them. And then also in the wine department, La Riojana wine is a fair trade co-op to co-op. It's an exclusive co-op item. Only the food co-ops in the country carry La Riojana wine. It's a agricultural wine producing co-op in Rioja, Argentina, and it's been doing great for that co-op and at the food co-ops that we're selling it at in the country. And so I've been glad to bring that here and give people a fair trade organic option.
So can you tell us a little bit about this new composting program you guys have?
Yeah, so we are delighted to be working on a pilot program for some vermiculture composting with the folks at the New Deal Cafe. We are collecting our produce scraps each week and helping to feed their worms and get that compost system going. I'm interested in trying to find ways to increase our green activity at the co-op and sustainability. And so compost is one area that we're just kind of dipping our toe in. It's a temporary program, but it's a way to get started in diverting some of the food waste into compost instead of going to the landfill. And it'll probably yield other results in the future, but this is the program we're currently doing, and it's off to just a fine start.
So I know on top of doing this composting, you guys have also established a new solar array, is that true?
Yeah, so for several years of work prior to me getting here, the board and great helpers have made a project happen where we have a new roof and a new solar array on our roof, and we'll produce about 40% of the total power for our store. Grocery stores are really big power users, and so 40% may not seem like a lot, but for the store like ours, it actually is a ton of energy being saved by the sun producing our power. So that's a really exciting program.
So one of the changes that you've made since the pandemic is adding a curbside pickup. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the co-op had been working for a while on considering a curbside pickup system or something at the co-op, but when the pandemic was beginning, it became evident that that really needed to be one of the first things that I helped to get going. So we've been really successfully running curbside since about the end of April. The interface is pretty simple on the web, and it's pretty affordable for customers who want to do it that way. Our staff pick the products in the morning, and we run it out to folks at the curb, and it's essentially contactless curbside pickup, and really pretty easy and efficient from what I'm hearing from customers. They're really enjoying it and appreciating it, and we are getting better and better at running it on our end, so that's good. But we're going to carry it keep doing it for the foreseeable future. It was definitely needed now during the pandemic because there's some people that just cannot go in stores, and we're really happy to be able to provide that for people.
So what has the co-op had to do in order to handle the COVID-19 new restrictions and precautions and everything?
Yeah, so when COVID was coming in, it was really a challenge for grocery stores. We had to figure out almost every day sort of new things to do to help make sure we were doing everything we could to keep customers and staff safe as we could without knowing everything about the COVID-19 virus. And so the first few weeks especially were very tricky. The governor's mask mandate certainly helped us to enforce the mask mandate of requiring that all customers and staff have their mask on over their nose and mouth all day, every day when they're in the store. And we're really strict about that. We will follow you around the store and make you come buy a mask or put your mask on if you're not having it up. We make vendors have their masks on properly, and a lot of hand sanitizer and things around the store, and we're sanitizing the belts and the registers and customer contact points frequently throughout the day. And then just trying to remind people to practice social distancing. We have a lot of spots on the floor where we remind people this is about 6 feet from this spot, stand here, stand here, stand here. Just trying to give people the right encouragement to behave properly. We're making pages over the intercom to remind people to wear their masks properly. We just actually started that a couple months ago on a staff person suggestion. We've got plexiglass up at the registers. A lot of talk with my staff about washing their hands, not touching their face, those kinds of things, doing their best to maintain distance from each other, even though it's challenging when you're working close to by, just doing our best to maintain distance and things like that. And then we've got a few spots where we have one-way aisles to just try to help the flow, to keep people from bumping into each other to the degree we can. Though the whole store is not one way, there's a lot of two-way, but a few spots that were especially tight, we tried to make one-way in the store. And overall, we've had 2 reported cases, and I did disclose that to the staff and customers, because we try to be open, honest, and transparent as a cooperative. And I was really glad that our customers really appreciated the fact that we were open and honest about that, as did my staff. And both staff people are healthy and well, and that's great news. And I hope that maybe we continue to be really lucky and have very few cases here at the co-op.
Today, the co-op continues its commitment to the Greenbelt community. This is evident by its contracts with local farmers, vendors, and artisans, employment of local residents, and support of local nonprofits. Currently, nearly 11,000 members own and control the co-op as a nonprofit.
Yeah, so one thing that's really special about Greenbelt Co-op Supermarket and Pharmacy is that we have a pharmacy. So we are a really reasonably sized grocery store, but we also have a nice pharmacy tucked inside the co-op grocery store. And so it's been really convenient and a lifeline for a lot of Greenbelt residents to have an easy pharmacy to just hop in and hop out of as needed. We also do curbside pickup for the pharmacy as well, so contactless patients that don't want to come in can get pharmacy items brought to them, which is a huge help for folks.
So can you tell us a little bit about the beer and wine section?
Yeah, so one of the other special things about the co-op grocery store is that we have a beer and wine department. Not every grocery store does in Maryland, and we're really delighted to have ours, and so are our customers. It's a really popular destination for a lot of our imbibing customers. So we've got a really rather large selection of beer and wine. We have a ton of organic items. We have a lot of local items on the beer side, and we do our best to have everyone's old-timey favorites all the way up to the newest, coolest thing that's coming out, and seasonal specialties. So we had a lot of cool seasonal beers that we just got through, and we try to have a pretty nice selection in a relatively manageable space that people can get what they need. So we've got a pretty good selection of organic wines at the co-op. They typically have a label underneath that'll say they're organic, and then just check the bottle to see this one's made with organic grapes. It says so on the side there. But we do try to highlight things that are organic or fair trade, or fair trade and organic. And then similarly in the beer, we usually try to indicate if it's a local beer. There's a lot of good brewers around here. We try to highlight them with signage so people know. And we'll be doing more and more of that, trying to highlight the cool features about organic or local fair trade that happens at the co-op, because we have a lot of it, but we don't necessarily always tell you, and we're trying to do a better job telling people about that stuff.
The co-op employs 52 full and part-time staff members.
So we are here in the back room of the co-op grocery store, and it's not a place that everybody gets to go to, so you're lucky. Special moment in time here where you're visiting our back room. So we have a couple large loading doors that big trucks pull up, and we unload several times a week a bunch of pallets of product that then head out onto the floor where you're familiar with them. And so there's a lot of activity here.
Department telephone call line 1, beat department line 1.
Like that. There's a lot of activity, there's a lot of noise. It's a pretty active place. It's quiet right now because most of our orders are already done and moved out. But throughout the day, a lot of stuff happens back here. We bail up all of our cardboard for recycling happens back here. All the product, the big coolers, the meat cooler, the freezer, dairy coolers, all back here, produce coolers back here. So kind of all the product that's refrigerated or frozen lives back here in its coolers. It's not on the floor. So there's a lot of stuff happening back here. And usually, like I say, it's really active in the mornings when the trucks come. It gets quieter as the day kind of wears on.
The co-op is guided by 3 groups: its members, the board of directors, and staff. To become a member, visit the store's front office.